also joining us now is our political panel, former Republican Senate candidate for New Jersey, Alex Zdan, and political analyst Ahmed. Thank you both for being here. All right, Alex, I'll start with you. Republicans, are they to blame given they have control over the Congress and the White House?
I mean, the Republicans who voted to reopen the government yesterday, those Republicans, the Republicans who are trying to negotiate in good faith, this is the Schumer shutdown. This is a Democrat shutdown. And what you didn't have in that very good reporting that you just saw about all these different issues is Chuck Schumer wants a shutdown only because last time when he gave in, voted to keep the government open, he was surprised that there was a massive amount of pushback from the left wing of his party, including AOC. This is AOC and Mamdani in the cockpit of the Democratic Party, driving it forward. Schumer's doing their bidding here.
Ahmed, I mean, this is going on for a while. We didn't think we would be going through the weekend, but here we are. What do you say?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that Republicans are negotiating necessarily in good faith, because they're saying that the core demand from Democrats is about funding health care for illegal immigrants, but illegal immigrants aren't eligible under the ACA, right? They're not eligible under law, and what I think Republicans are zeroing down on is this Medicaid reimbursement plan that was passed during the Reagan era, right? So this is not something that's new. There's no new demand here. Less than 1% of Medicaid dollars go to reimbursing hospitals that treat undocumented immigrants that are just simply going to the ER. So if that's what they want to wrangle over, we're seeing polling shows that Americans don't believe that. I think Democrats right now think that they have the upper hand in the messaging war because the majority of Americans believe that healthcare, these subsidies should be renewed. They are not buying the argument on the illegal immigrant side of this. And also, I saw a recent poll that said MAGA voters, actually 57% of them, they don't believe that these ACA subsidies should be ended.
All right,
and I really think that that is the core of this. If Democrats keep hammering that, I think we could see movement, potentially.
Well, I'm glad you brought up numbers because we want to take a look at this New York Times Siena poll. It shows registered voters believe that both Democrats and Trump or Republicans are to blame for a shutdown. So, Alex, you said that, in terms of the blame game, you've got a different view. What do you think about these numbers?
I'm not looking at a poll to tell me to do the right thing. The right thing is to vote to reopen the government. You know who's getting hurt right now? Right now, $50 billion in rural hospital funding is on hold because of this Democrat shutdown. This is something that both sides can come to the table and solve very quickly. This argument about health care for the people who are in this country illegally, the Democrats want in this bill that the phrase lawfully present instead of citizen to be used. Lawfully present could include people who are in this country illegally in the household of a lawfully present American citizen. This funding bill, if the Democrats got their way, would fund illegal immigrants. Let's just have a clean CR pass. Let's negotiate about the Medicaid subsidies. They don't expire till the end of the year. We have 3 months to make sure we get this right, reopen the government, get it together, and let's do that.
Ahmed, I'm going to give you a chance to weigh in. Language matters, of course, when all of this is going on.
Yeah, I mean, lawfully present means they're literally lawfully present. They're legally.
And not everyone in their household could be lawfully present.
So if you're lawfully present, if you're a lawfully present individual, you're disqualified from health care because you have an undocumented relative?
Why not just use the word citizens? What's wrong with that? Citizens, taxpayers.
Because lawfully present individuals, whether you have legal status or not, you actually are eligible for some benefits. And also, undocumented immigrants, first off, they pay taxes and they're not even eligible for a lot of the benefits.
Not all undocumented immigrants pay
A lot of them do.
Not all of them, that's a lot.
I didn't say all of them. I said they pay $100 billion in annual taxes. That's
and
actually
American citizens pay far, far more.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that they should be getting. They're not eligible for ACA. They're not eligible for those subsidies. I'm not saying they should get them. What I'm simply saying here is that Democrats are trying to use the only levers that they have to try to prevent millions of Americans' health care from doubling. Their premiums would double if these ACA subsidies are expired at the end of the year. And honestly, you're not going to find me defending this shutdown going on for a long time. I'm worried about the damage that gets done, especially by Trump and Russell Vogt that are now going to use this as a justification to further cut the federal government. I'm worried about that, too.
And can we put up that full screen that we had earlier about what the Republicans are looking for, what the Democrats are looking for, and just do a side-by-side? I do want to switch gears and talk about Gaza for a minute, but if we could put that up, we'll have it in a second. So let's talk about the Gaza peace deal. Ahmed, a lot of people are talking about where we are with this because we are entering some interesting territory with all of this. Many people saying, had it not been for Trump and where we are going, this may not have happened. How do you see this playing out?
Well, you might find I have some agreement maybe with Alex on this. You're not going to find me complain about this happening just because Trump is doing it, all right? Like, I want bloodshed to end. I want Gaza to have the best possible outcome. I'm hoping that the negotiations lead to good outcomes for Gaza long term. That's part of the negotiation that's still yet to be determined. But I actually think that it was good that Trump kind of seized on Hamas agreeing to it, because it kind of boxed Netanyahu in a little bit to try to say, like, oh, he's already jumping on Hamas agreeing to portions of it, and then now it's up. Trump is saying, Netanyahu, it's up to you to kind of also come to the table now that Hamas has done an initial agreement too. So I'm not going to be upset if this goes down. I'm going to be happy.
So many people want this, right? I mean, but there's a but.
There's always a but when you're dealing with thugs and murderers in the case of Hamas. But in terms of the only person on the face of the earth who could get both Hamas to at least agree in principle to release hostages and call on Israel to end its operations in Gaza is Donald J. Trump. This is a massive breakthrough. If it holds, if it goes through, and I think we all pray that it does, this could change the face of the Middle East, and I really hope it goes through. A lasting peace could be within our grasp if Hamas listens to reason, releases these hostages, and we can go forward with a lengthy peace process.
I mean, if you could believe, 2 years, October 7th, we're coming up on that anniversary. Yeah. And also, I'll just leave, I know I'm switching gears again, but let's just put up that full screen. I just wanted to get that in, and we'll say goodbye, but I just wanted to show our viewers the party demands back to what's going on with the federal government. That is the difference of what we're looking at. We're going to follow this story. I would love to have you guys back. You're great sparring partners together here on set.
We're going to stay over until the government reopens, actually.
Oh, very good. Oh, very good. We're going to have, we'll have a little side box for you to watch that play out.
All right.
Alex and Ahmed, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you today. And still ahead, we're going to talk about another big story we had.